We have a message to not only the Cincinnati Police Department but to every law enforcement officer.
The group Anonymous already singling out 2 officers by name and warning more will be exposed here.
Ted Gunderson, who was with the FBI, as many of you know, and is now retired from the FBI. There he is.
Pleasure to be here. I want you to know that this is from the old FBI, not the new FBI.
They want to get their child out of the country, but they don't know where to go. They're thinking of Ecuador, they're thinking of somewhere. They think they need to get their child out of the country in order to save their lives. It's that bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
We all need to leave the country to save our lives. We're getting ready for martial law.
The extent and the scope of the spying the NSA carried out.
You can take a look at the storage facilities they're building and get an idea of how much they're taking in. Like a 1 million square foot storage facility in Bluffdale, Utah.
I'm standing before you today as the most highly decorated officer in the history of Phoenix, Arizona Police Department, but also the most fired officer in the history of because of some things I'll tell you about in a few minutes. But
I am Major General Albert Stubblebine. I am retired Army Major General. I was responsible for all of the Army's strategic intelligence forces around the world.
I originally worked as an intelligence analyst. From there moved on to 5th U.S. Army Intelligence Center, where I worked both as an intelligence analyst and as a counterintelligence coordinator. We'll be covering everything that we possibly can concerning the New World Order operations inside the United States.
Today, I have with me Chip Tatum. This man is unbelievable. 25 years, CIA Black Ops operator. Chip, welcome. Tell the world about what went on behind the scenes in your Black Op operation.
I don't know that the FBI has ever been, even from its inception, an honorable organization. I don't think there's ever been such a thing as an honorable organization ever to operate it under the U.S. government.
This FBI flyer that was handed out to police officers only. If you encounter any of these people, immediately call the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Right-wing extremists, people that make numerous references to the U.S. Constitution, are domestic terrorists.
the internationalists got to have terrorism because the only way you get the American people to beg for martial law is to give up their rights. So we know more terrorism's coming. I'm a retired police officer, and we talk to police and soldiers all the time, and they all know this.
When a report revealed that the government itself may have been running drugs, the head of the DEA at the time, Robert Bonner, said that a ton of pure cocaine worth hundreds of millions of dollars had been smuggled into the United States. And he blamed the CIA.
When I got out of the FBI in 1979, I started doing my own research. And that's when the lights went on. Huge, major cover-up.
Believing that I was helping the people of America stay away from illegal drugs, this really confused and confounded me. The CIA was involved.
This was a case that involved flying drugs in plastic bags in the body cavities of the dead GIs coming out of Southeast Asia in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
Everything's pointing to martial law. It's been planned 2 centuries. May 1st, 1776, 86, 96, yeah.
Another 600,000 square foot facility they're starting to build. They started last summer in Fort Meade, on Fort Meade. And then a 400,000 square foot facility they have down in San Antonio, and other stores.
On the commission, that when the police chief fired me for writing to my fellow officers about the Constitution and about saying no to immoral and unlawful orders, to a publication I started.
September the 11th in 2001. What hit the Pentagon?
I don't know exactly what hit it, but I do know from the photographs that I have analyzed and looked at very, very carefully, it was not an airplane.
The MJTF Police Multi-Jurisdictional Task Force is in virtually every state of the Union of the United States at this time. Its primary mission is house-to-house search and seizure, separation and categorization of men, women, and children in large numbers.
After your capture, you were grabbed by the CIA, and why were you captured? And what led up to that?
So when they told me I was to report to the colonel, I knew I was dead. I'd done
Well,
something
not
wrong.
yet.
I'd done something wrong, and I was gonna fixing to get it.
This is what a police officer used to be, and that's what I was on the city of Phoenix. I was a friend of the people. But today, this is what we have. This one is your enforcer, and he's enforcing the New World Order locally, state, and federally.
Is this state-sponsored terrorism?
State-sponsored terrorism, just like the others were. Just like the World Trade Center bombing 1 and 2. Your listeners probably, and the people you know this.
Saying the agency had joined the Venezuelan National Guard in drug smuggling.
A ton of cocaine was smuggled into the United States of America by the Venezuelan National Guard in cooperation with the CIA.
So I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? I mean, evidence was lost, stolen, destroyed. People are lying on the witness stand. What's going on here? I realized it was a huge drug cover-up.
The CIA was involved, and that there were national security interests, and that the case was not going to go any further. I was working for the DEA, I was being paid, and I was an undercover agent.
When you're talking about martial law, Ted, we're talking about a Hitlerian superstate, are we not?
Well, we're talking about a police state. And we're talking about Nazi Germany in 1933.
If you see the stories that they're bringing online, you can say they're really collecting an awful lot of information. So that, my estimate, was in the zettabyte category of collection.
Born in Washington, D.C., raised in D.C., and we call it the dark continent today because it's bringing darkness over America.
The nose penetrated far enough so that there should have been wing marks on the walls of the Pentagon. I have been unable to find those wing marks.
You know, all these shootings around the country, the one in Arizona that we had, I think, West Virginia and Oregon and all that have taken place. This is all, in my opinion, I can't prove it. These are mind control victims, MK Ultra mind control victims.
The MJTF are regular National Guard, local law enforcement, and street gangs converted to National Police Services.
A satanic cult was distributing these drugs up and down the East Coast. 2 of them were CID agents, Criminal Investigative Division.
I began to change. I began to see that I was part of a corrupt system, a very evil system, and I wasn't going to do it. When they gave me an immoral order or an unlawful order, I said, no, I won't do it.
And the whole thing is designed to destroy the Second Amendment, to take our guns away from us.
Well, they've got to do that before they go into martial law.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they couldn't kill us freely.